Hey guys, this is Sam with ENN Coins and Cards. Today we're going to be doing another coin roll hunting video. Last time we did a video like this, we did an uncirculated roll of 2000p Sacagawea dollars, and we were looking for the Wounded Eagle variety. Well, today we're going to be doing some rolls of dimes, and we're going to be looking for some dime varieties, such as silver dimes, or specifically here we're going to be talking today about this dime, and that is the 1982 no mint mark dime. It's supposed to be marked Philadelphia, but it doesn't have a mint mark, and we're going to talk more about that in this video. So the first thing that you want to look for in really any US currency, this is half dollars, quarters, and dimes, are coins that were made 1964 and before. So here I have an example of one. I'll zoom in on the date here so you can see it. That was minted in 1956. And anything 64 or before is 90% silver. So on this coin, you can see from the edge that there is no copper on the edge. And if I compare it here to another common dime, this is 1966, you can see the 1966 has copper on the edge, while the 1956 does not. So while coins like this are more valuable, so they get pulled out more often, it is possible to still find them in circulation. Sometimes when people inherit someone's collection, they might not necessarily know that this is something that's worth more than just face value. So instead of taking it to a coin shop, they might take it to the bank. These coins find their way back into circulation. Sometimes you can get them in bank rolls. And this isn't necessarily a variety, it's just a date that contains silver. So anything 64 and before for dimes, quarters, and half dollars is going to be 90% silver. So another thing that we can look for in dimes specifically is this coin that I have right here in this PCGS holder. This is a 1982 dime with no mint mark. So this coin right here, 1982, is supposed to have a Philadelphia mint mark right here between the 1982 and Roosevelt's neck. And if you zoom in, you can see that there is nothing there. So when a coin is made, the mint mark is punched into the die. And then when the die strikes the planchet, the mint mark will form in the planchet like the rest of the coin. So that means that this coin, the die that struck this coin, did not have a mint mark on the die. This is a very rare error, and I believe this is the first example of the occurrence. So it had to have come from a negligent employee at the mint who forgot to punch the die with a mint mark, and then the die made it past inspection and it started punching coins, or striking coins. So where we are in Toledo, Ohio, we are very near where these coins were released. The majority of them were found in Sandusky, Ohio, notably at the theme park Cedar Point. And there were other coins of a similar variety found in Pittsburgh and also in Boston. And all three of these hoards, you could call them, from Sandusky, Pittsburgh, and Boston, were able to be traced back to bank bags that came from Cleveland. And experts suspect that it's very likely that only one die made every single one of these coins. Since it's such a rare error, it's unlikely that multiple dies would have been produced that had the same error, so it's probably just one die. And you can see right here, this is a PCGS MS65, so very high grade, and this was given the strong designation. Strong refers to the strike, so this is a strong strike. The date is very pronounced. There's also a weak strike variety in which the ring or the rim around the outside will have a very weak strike. So like the 2 is barely visible. The top of the letters in Liberty are barely visible. So that's the weak strike. And generally the strong strike is going to be worth more. And you might think that the weak strike came from later in the life of the die. Maybe as the die was deteriorating, the striker was getting weaker. Really what they think happened was that the original strikes were very weak because the quantity of coins that were being produced by the mint in these years in 1982 was very high, so they wanted to preserve dies for longer by using less pressure. So the earlier strikes were weak, and then when somebody noticed the weakness of the strike, the pressure was increased for that specific die, which created the strong strike variety. In fact, there are examples of the strong strike that actually have die cracks, which would lead you to believe that the strong strikes are indeed like a late stage strike. So being that these coins were likely struck only on one die, the upper limit, as you would call it, of coins produced is probably around the 75,000 mark. So it's impossible to know just how many of a certain coin like this gets produced, because it's, I mean, the mint didn't even know about it. It's not like somebody's keeping track of it. So you can kind of figure it out by how many dies struck the coin. Since it was probably only one, there's likely 75,000 or less of these coins that exist. And some people think that it's far less because of the die crack exhibited on some of these coins might have taken the die out of commission before its life was fully up. So now the question is, how much is a coin like this worth? Well, in MS65, where this coin is graded at, PCGS Price Guide has this at about $325. Now in lower grades, especially uncertified raw coins not in a holder like this, are going to be worth a lot less. So finding this coin in circulation that is not in mint state, at the lower grades, uncertified, you might be able to sell it for a couple bucks. People use them to fill albums and stuff. But if you do get one in a roll that is a higher grade, about uncirculated or uncirculated mint state, it can be worth, at least a couple $100. In fact, once you get above MS65, the price starts going up quite a bit from there. All right, so that is the 1982 No P dime. And now that we've taken a look at this variety, let's open these rolls that we have right here and let's see if we can find anything. We should note that these are customer wrapped rolls. So I got these from the bank. Normally when you get rolls like this from the bank, they're going to be in machine wrapped rolls. But since these rolls are brought in by customers, you could have some other stuff in it. Sometimes customer rolls can be something along the lines of a collection dump. Not often. I wouldn't expect that to be the case all the time. Probably just some people getting rid of their change, and banks don't have coin rollers anymore, so they have to do it themselves. All right, there's the first roll, and I'm going to take a look at each one of these dimes. We're going to be looking for silver and the 1982 No P. So we're seeing 2018 P. We know these rolls were rolled in at least 2018 or later. Sometimes when you get customer rolls from the bank, you won't see a lot of newer coins in them, which means you can kind of pinpoint when the roll might have been made. Oh, look at that. No way. All right. So this is definitely a find and something that I was legitimately not expecting in this roll. We didn't even go over it. This is a Canadian dime, which you do find pretty frequently in American change, Canadian coins. But this is a silver Canadian dime. Now, I forget off the top of my head what percentage of silver Canadian coins were. I think it was 80-20 if I remember right. And I'm thinking 1960 might have been the last year they were made. I'll have to do some research on that. But 1951, this is definitely a silver dime. Not something that I would expect to see too often, but a lot of times, people know about the American silver coins, 1964 before, but they might not be familiar with the Canadian variety. So whoever rolled these rolls up, they missed this one. Ew. right, first roll down, 3 to go, and find of the hunt so far, and I think it will probably remain that way, is this 1951 silver Canadian. All right, looks like we have another Canadian dime. This is going to be 1974, so this one is not silver. But another find. All right, on to roll number 3. Some of you going for the silvery looking one first. Nope, 2002p. Ah, 82p. Look at that. We even have a kind of a weaker strike there in the 2, just like the one in the slab that I showed you. So this is what we're looking for, but obviously this one's got the mint mark. So had it not had a mint mark, this would be a pretty valuable coin. $1982D, minted in Denver. All right, on to roll number 4. All right, so that is the end of the hunt. 4 customer wrapped rolls hunted. And find of the hunt, as expected, is this 1951 silver Canadian dime. Now, for 4 rolls, 4 customer wrapped rolls, this is an amazing find. Usually, if you're going through rolls of coins from the bank, the concentration of silver in today's circulating coins is so low that if you get 1 coin per box, which for a box of dimes, it'd be about $500 worth of dimes, you're doing very well. But since this was since these were customer wrapped rolls, clearly this customer had Canadians that they were trying to get rid of. And since it doesn't make sense to exchange just a handful of Canadian currency for United States currency, they put them in rolls and they took them to the bank. But their lack of coin knowledge or lack of attention to detail kept them from seeing the fact that they had a silver dime here. So in this condition, it's basically just worth silver. This is probably a buck or two, but I mean, still, it's 10 cents face value. So you're looking at 10 to 20 times the face value for something like this. So that's a pretty good find. But don't expect stuff like this all the time. I'm honestly very surprised that we found any silver in just 4 rolls. So I've gone through a lot of rolls personally, and I'm a bit jealous of the rolls that we did today since they technically aren't mine. This is definitely some beginner's luck, but it's a find that I'll take. But anyway, a lesson of the video is you should always keep your eyes peeled for stuff like this. Even when you're getting Canadian coins, it's worth looking at the date because you never know when you're going to find silver. And then obviously you never know when you're going to find, wherever I put it here, something like this, a multi-$100 value coin, 1982, no P. So something like this that looks very common, that many people aren't going to recognize as a valuable variety, is indeed a valuable variety. It's always worth looking for. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Please like and comment if you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ENN Coins and Cards. All right, I will see you on the next one.